Hello everyone! This is Dashini and I help people empower themselves and create a life that they would truly love to live. And in this video, we are going to be talking about doing one thing at a time and thus increasing the overall quality of your life. Doing one thing at a time doesn't mean doing one single task for the entire day. Doing one thing at a time is doing one particular task at one particular period of time. It basically means no multitasking. For example, if you're working, you're only working. You're not looking at your phone or you're not chatting with others or no doing two or three things at a time. Now, let's talk about why we should do just one thing at a time. Why not do multiple things at a time and be more efficient? Do you really think doing multiple things at a time is more efficient? Whenever you're doing just one single task at a time, within just a few minutes, you will get into a state called flow state. And when you're in the state, there is high productivity and less energy will be used. Now, it might feel quite contradictory as to how, when productivity is high, the energy used is low. This is because when you're in the flow state, the cosmic energy flows through you. That is why, when you've done a particular work in a flow state, after your work time is over, you will feel much more energetic compared to the energy with which you started. Have you ever felt this before? If yes, then it means that you've been working in a flow state that day. If you work in a flow state, your mind will be quiet and you will feel light both while working and after work. It's sometimes very surprising to observe that you got so much of things done, but little to no energy has been used up. Another thing to note here is that when you're working this state, you will finish your work very quickly and you will have lots of free time after work, which you can use to do more things that you love. However, if you're multitasking or constantly switching between tasks, then cosmic energy cannot flow through you. So, your energy will get used up, hence, you will start feeling tired. Also, if you observe, you will realize that when you're constantly switching between tasks or multitasking, then you will feel more tensed and you'll feel that you're more busy. But in this state of constant switching or multitasking, deep work cannot be done. In this state of being, only superficial work can be done, although you might be feeling super busy and stressed out. Of course, you might be doing a lot of things, but is the work deep work or superficial work? Just observe and see one day. You will realize that when you're constantly switching tasks, your work will be superficial, and when you're in a flow state, then your work will be deep work and of high quality. The point of doing one single thing at a time is not just for high productivity and getting more done. The point is to increase the quality of your moments. It's how you're feeling while doing your work and after work. Are you feeling light and calm or do you feel stressed out? For example, let's say that you're in a conversation and someone is talking to you, but you're also simultaneously on your phone. So, in this scenario, what do you think will be the quality of the conversation? Yes, of course, you can hear what the other person is saying, but to what extent can you truly listen? Do you think you can make the person who's talking feel heard? Think of it this way. Let's say that you have something that you really want to share with someone. But if you're not fully present and listening to you deeply, how will you feel? Won't you lose interest in sharing what you wanted to share in the first place? So, the key here is when you're listening to someone, if you had just done that one task, which is listening, then automatically you will listen more deeply than you would if you were multitasking. The flow state just gives us almost everything: high productivity, high quality, light feeling, quiet mind, everything. Yet, why not everybody are following this? One is because they are not used to focusing on just a single task for an extended period of time. And the second is the major one, which is they are used to constant distraction. Now, let's look deep into what is the root cause of distraction. Distraction is distracting from yourself or from the important works. If someone is happy with themselves and calm on the inside, then distractions won't be required. For example, why our holidays are filled with distractions when we could spend that time resting? This is because when a person is not at peace with himself or herself, then they resort to distraction. Many of the times, it is our distractions, such as social media, that is bringing in so much of comparison in our lives. If we were to just focus on ourselves and keep moving forward, there will be less comparison. Deleting your social media accounts or limiting your usage might just be step one. The real root cause of distraction is your self esteem. Because if you think high about yourself and high about others, then you can be happy with yourself and feel calm on the inside. Because if you just think about it, if you have a high self esteem, then regardless of the people you see online or in real life, you will be happy with yourself. Comparison is not just an online thing, although it can be a lot more online than in real life. So, when you want to solve things from its root, you have to increase your self esteem rather than trying to change the things that you see on the outside. Because if your internal strength has increased and you have a high self esteem, comparison will not be a problem anymore. Like, why would someone who's completely happy with themselves compare themselves with others? With high self esteem, you will be unshakable and nobody can make you feel small. Because, regardless of the other person's intentions, whether you feel small or not is completely your choice. So for now, let's stay on track for the topic for this video and let's talk about how to increase your self-esteem in another video. So when you're multitasking or constantly switching between tasks, fulfilling work cannot be done. This is because only if you do a single task at a time, you can immerse yourself in the work and do deep work. Otherwise, if you're constantly switching between tasks and just trying to get things done, then the attitude would be just finish everything and go. It's the get shit done mentality. In this state of being, or with this mindset, original work and passionate work cannot be done. So, if you are someone who wants to do authentic, original work with a lot of passion, then focus on just one task at a time and immerse yourself deeply into the work. Whenever an uncomfortable feeling arises, if you practice escaping it by constantly switching between tasks, then it becomes a habit. When an uncomfortable feeling arises, watch it and just feel the feeling completely. When you accept that feeling and watch that feeling neutrally without taking action, then the feeling will vanish very soon. Accepting and neutrally observing an emotion is the best way to get rid of an emotion. Observe whether you are distracting yourself or the people around you are distracting you. Example of you distracting yourself is you checking your phone frequently or filling your silences with other stuff. Whereas others distracting you is like when you really want to do some focused work, people might interrupt you by asking for some help, which might be quite urgent. So, what is the solution for preventing others from distracting you? Plan the work for which you really need to focus and is important to you during the times you know that you will not be interrupted. For example, in my case, I like to do my most important work and the works for which I don't want any interruptions for, and the works which I really want to do in a flow state, I do it during the early morning times. So during this time, there will be no interruptions and the world will be quiet, so we can easily get into the flow state and work in the flow state. It's like how many problems naturally fall apart when you're being in a high vibrational state. The problems that you might have when you're in a low vibrational energy might simply not be present when you're in a high vibrational energy. For example, if you're in a high vibrational state of being, such as being happy with yourself, then you won't have these unwanted feelings like comparing yourself with others, insecurity, fear, doubt, etc. But if you're operating in a low vibrational energy, then these unwanted feelings might be present. So the next question is how to get into this high vibrational state of being. Whenever you're working in a flow state, you will naturally be operating in a high vibrational state of being. This does not mean that your flow state can permanently erase all your unwanted feelings from you. But when you're in a flow state, you will be operating in a high vibrational state of being. But if you don't have a high self-esteem, then after work, that is, after you get out of your flow state, there is a chance that these unwanted feelings might come back to you. So, to really solve this problem from the root, you have to increase your self-esteem. But during the time that you're working on yourself to increase your self-esteem, you can still work in a high vibrational state of being by working in a flow state. It's like you don't have to wait before you start going in the path of your dreams to work on yourself and increase your self-esteem. It is very important to work on yourself and increase your self-esteem to really solve the problem from its root. But you don't need to wait to have a high self-esteem before you start moving towards your dreams. You have the capacity to work in a high vibrational state of being right now, right here. So take advantage of it, work in a flow state, be in a high vibration, and start moving towards your dreams and create your dream life. Next, I'm going to be talking about how to focus on a single task during different scenarios. For example, when things are new and interesting, it's very easy to do just a single task at a time. It's because when something is new or interesting, it takes up your full attention, so focusing all your energy and concentrating on just that one task will be easy. However, when you're doing tasks that does not require your full potential, then your mind starts to wander. Normally, when a task does not require our full potential, that is when we tend to multitask and try to keep us fully engaged. While trying to keep your mind fully engaged might be good, it is also important to let your mind wander freely at times. This is when creativity flows and a lot of ideas comes to us, etc. When your mind tries to wander, allow it to do so. Mostly, your mind tries to wander while doing those mundane tasks. For example, walking, doing the dishes, etc. If you always try to keep your mind fully engaged, then there'll be no space for ideas and inspirations to come to you. So, even while doing your mundane tasks, try to do one single thing at a time. And this will allow your mind to wander and allow ideas to flow to you. This is not just for ideas to flow to you. During this time, your mind also processes feelings. Sometimes the reason why we want our minds to be fully engaged always is because we don't want to get in touch with those feelings and go through them. But only when we watch those thoughts which are going inside us and feel those feelings completely and allow it to flow through us, the mind can be empty and free. If you don't allow your mind to wander for a bit once in a while, then how will your feelings get processed? Some people are so uncomfortable with silence and being with their own thoughts. So they listen to music while doing mundane tasks to just escape the silence. If you truly enjoy listening to music, then that's perfect. But observe closely to check whether you're using music to escape the silence. To check this, sit with yourself in silence and see if you're comfortable to sit with yourself with your own thoughts. Or do you observe yourself wanting to fill that silence with something? If you're comfortable with the silence and you like music, then balance the two. At times, you can be in absolute silence, and during the other times, you can listen to music. Make sure that music is not your source of escape. So, until now, we were talking about the tasks that do not require your full potential, yet you're focusing on just one task at a time. Next, let's talk about focusing on one single task at a time during your real work. In the case of your real work, make sure that it requires your full potential. Full potential means that it uses your skills, talents, and it provides that space for you to produce high quality work in minimum time. It does not mean working long hours and burning out. If you do something that you're very passionate about, or at least you're interested in, then it's very easy to get immersed into the work and give your full attention to it. So, to summarize, whatever work that you're doing, regardless of whether it's your real work or it's your mundane task or it's your hobbies or whatever it is. Focus and do just one single task at a time. Thank you very much for listening, and I genuinely hope that this video was helpful. Hit the like button if you like this video and subscribe to this channel if you found this video valuable. And see you in the next video.